the Emo Hour, your weekly power hour of all things emo and adjacent, with your hosts, Katie and Nani.
Hello and welcome to the Emo Hour. It's your host, Katie and Nani. Hi,
Hi.
Katie.
How are you?
I'm going to be honest, just a little bit more tired than I should be. We had karaoke last night, and that's just the truth. Is that I sang my heart out, and I might have had one extra drink that I probably didn't need at my old age.
Just one extra?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't bad. It was just the combination of like being out late and just kind of just running around like an idiot. But it's summertime. It stays late till like 10 o'clock. I was having a blast and I couldn't say no.
You just said it stays late till 10 o'clock.
See, that's how great I'm doing. Stays late.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you look very springy. You're wearing
Thanks.
spring colors and your nails match your dress and you're very just bright and springy.
You would never know that I used to be an emo kid based on what I'm wearing today.
Hey, speaking of emo kids, I donated blood to Red Cross today, and the gal who was with me the entire time had solid black nails. And I was like, we are the same.
We are the same. Also, great plug. Go donate blood. It is needed. It is needed to do. And I'm embarrassed that I didn't go with you. I should have. Although that might have just sent me over the edge today.
Yeah, I don't know if they want your blood.
They don't want yours, Nani.
They don't want that blood, the alcohol-soaked blood. Anyway, that feels like a great transition to what's making you emo this week, Nani?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know who should go first, but my voice is a little cracky because I was singing my heart out last night and maybe belted a little bit too loud. And there was also such an amazing singer in town here for like a conference. You would have lost your mind. He sang a Deftones song and it stopped me in my tracks and I didn't know what to do. And I just like stood there staring without words. Anyways, I digress. That's probably what should be making me emo. But no, what's making me emo is one of your favorite humans, Miranda Lambert.
Yeah, love her. I used to be told I look like her a lot, but not as much anymore.
Yeah, no, but you guys definitely do have similarities. For those who may or may not follow the country world, because that is a different genre than what we tend to talk about on this show. Although, as you've said, the alternative is very much a thing, alive and well. Mm-hmm. And what?
Or twangsty.
Twangsty.
Yep. Had to add that.
God, I love you. But she has been the most winningest. I think that's like technically the word of all time for ACM awards and for many awards. Frankly, this sounds kind of silly. I have seen her award wall in her home, and it is so impressive. It is just truly an entire wall full of awards. It's crazy. The woman is an absolute icon. But she did something recently at this year's ACM Awards in which she became, again, she's like I think she's like at like 40 something ACM Awards, like way ahead of anybody else, right?
Yeah.
But what just happened is she made history yet again. No surprise, because again, she's the GOAT. But we live in such a weird town. I'm watching a gondola being forklift right in front of my house right now. Sorry. I just had to share that with everybody. Sorry for the squirrel moment. But she was the first artist to win an ACM for producing music for another artist. And it was Ella Langley's Choose in Texas.
Nice.
And it's like, yeah, of course. And she's done this really beautiful pivot of now, like, she still obviously has her own career, but she's really gotten behind new and up and coming artists. Mm-hmm. And it's, female supporting female. Anyways, I'm in awe of the woman. I think that she is one of the good ones and is well deserving of these like crazy statistics that is like most winningest artist of all time as it relates to the ACMs. And she's got tons of them, but I just figured it was worth noting because like you love her, I love her, and in a weird way, I kind of feel like she's a little emo as it relates to the country world, and I couldn't go by this month without calling it out.
No, I appreciate that. And I feel like she gets a lot more criticism than she deserves, which I think is just kind of general of women in the spotlight.
Yep.
Like she's had a very public life and public relationships, and like obviously maybe hasn't always made the best decisions, but that's life, you know?
Yeah, like
and,
have any of us?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't make a good decision last night by staying out too late.
Yeah. But you had fun.
I sure did.
And you sang I Miss You.
I didn't. I sang somber.
Oh, okay.
12 to 12, which is probably why I lost my voice, because I'm not used to, like, actually, it turns out I don't really know the words either.
Well,
so
yeah, all city choir taught you to just scream if you don't know the words.
Watermelon, 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 watermelon. Did you know that trick?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I know what you're doing. Yeah.
What about you? What's making you emo?
Well, I had kind of an idea of what I was going to say that was just kind of a punt, but you just reminded me, and I'm changing it. So you said, we live in such a weird town. I'm seeing this drive by, and it reminded me of what I saw driving by yesterday. And that was yesterday. So we're recording this, separately than we recorded the interview that you'll hear. But as of the date of this recording, yesterday was the last day of public school here in town. So a lot of, exciting things, last day of school, whatever. And you and I had lunch, and I was walking to go back to my car to go back to work. And I look to my left, and I see a sheepdog coming down the roadway, a sheepdog van, I should say, like exactly the Mutts Cuts van from Dumb and Dumber.
It is.
And again, it's just such a weird town that we live in, because it's the Mutt Cut van from Dumb and Dumber, which, if you know that movie, because you should, it's iconic.
Iconic.
It was the one that Harry was driving, and as he had a bunch of hot dogs in the back, and he's like, foot long, who wants the foot long? And it's an iconic vehicle that lives in our area. And I don't know if you know this. It lives in the showroom at the auto shop. That's where it is all the time.
It is.
Because I didn't think, I asked you that yesterday, because it's owned by the director of Dumb and Dumber, who is a fan resident of Sun Valley, part-time resident of Sun Valley, I don't know. Also a fan of our local hockey team.
Yep.
So the van comes out every once in a while for, special events. And it was, some guys were driving it yesterday to go pick up their kids from school, and
dressed up as Dumb and Dumber.
I was just going to say, the part I haven't said yet is that there were two men that I saw, and I waved to them. I don't really know them, but I kind of knew one of them. And one was wearing the powder blue tuxedo, and one was wearing the orange tuxedo. And I was like, this is just so wonderful.
Did they have the top hat?
They did. Yep.
Oh my God. So I knew that this was happening because, and we'll probably talk about this in a future episode, but one of my side projects that I'm working on right now is a sexy calendar for the Sun Valley Suns, which is the hockey team here. And yesterday we did the photo shoot at SV Auto Club, which is owned by Dave Stone, aka Stoney, who is also a part of Dumb and Dumber. And then Bobby obviously owns the van still from Dumb and Dumber. And so that van is actually in the photo shoot that we did yesterday.
Love
and it is so iconic. So I heard the back end of your story because one of the people that was driving the car, they work at the auto club, and he said that the niece and nephew were just mortified. They were so embarrassed, but also like, how cool is it to get picked up in the Mutt Cut van?
Right. Yeah. It's iconic.
I know.
Interesting. It's special to our area. Sun Valley's a weird place, but it's a wonderful place.
Sure is. Speaking of, I forgot to tell you, I saw Mark Hoppus.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you want to share where on here, but you'll have to tell me later.
It's one of the places that you would imagine, though.
Okay.
But yeah, our weird little town, it's pretty crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
But let's get into the interview.
Yeah.
So we talked today. It's really exciting. We talked to the author of Say the Quiet Part Out Loud, Volume 1, and soon to be Volume 2.
Volume 2. Yep.
So let's just get into the interview.
Yeah, I had such a fun time talking with him. He was a very, I think, very thoughtful, and we talk about it quite a bit throughout the interview. But like one of the things that I really enjoyed the most is the fact that he wrote a very straightforward kind of 101 book on all things emo and the scene, and he encapsulated it in like a very quick to read book that like if you ever want to educate yourself, or if you're curious about it, or maybe if you're too old or too young from living in that like actual time frame. I just thought he did a great job. So, and I love talking with him. So I'm excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, he's our brand of millennial, like elder emo millennial too. So
Yep.
lots to relate to. Very fun conversation. So let's get into it.
All right, let's toss it over. On today's episode, we're joined by William Ramsey, author of Say the Quiet Part Out Loud, Volume 1, a must read for anyone interested in emo and the culture surrounding it. If you're familiar with his Instagram or TikTok, My Emo Diaries, you already know there's a personal connection to the emo and underground world woven into his perspective. That space between introspection, subculture, and storytelling runs through a lot of his work. William has self-published multiple books centered around the emo and alternative scene, digging into the stories and narratives that sit just beneath the surface of the culture. At the core of all of it is a clear DIY thread, the same instinct you find in emo and punk scenes, where people are used to questioning, documenting, and making sense of things from the inside out. We're really excited to talk with him about all things emo, his perspective on the scene, his writing, and the evolution of My Emo Diaries project, along with the stories and ideas that have shaped his work. We couldn't be more excited to welcome Will to the Emo Hour. Welcome, Will.
Whoa, that that was amazing. That was an amazing. I was like, you talking about me? Thank you.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah, we're
cool.
talking about you. We are so
That
excited
was
that
cool.
you're here today. And I know we popped on to this just a little bit earlier, but I was saying that I just finished your book last night, and it was so awesome. So I can't wait to talk about it. And Katie obviously read it. I don't know, a handful. I don't remember how long ago you did read it.
Sometime last year, and I know I gave a little recap of it on one of our previous podcasts. So, Will, I don't know if you
Yeah,
heard that. I think we tagged you and shouted you out a little bit in that, but
yeah, I
um,
listened to it twice.
oh, good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank
Hell yeah!
you.
Thanks for the support. Support, love,
yeah.
support.
Absolutely.
So where are we finding you today?
I'm here in my house, in my room in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
Um,
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely the Midwest in you came throughout the book too. Which is awesome because one thing that we've always talked about on here is how there's kind of these like geographic areas within the scene where like some bands were bigger in like the Northwest or the East Coast or the Midwest, and so I kind of picked up on that when I was reading the book. So I was excited to hear where you were from and but where you are currently, and it sounds like you've got that Midwest. The Midwest emo runs deep with you.
Yes, I can't escape the Midwest, even if I tried, and I have tried. So I love it. Like, I don't know if like I used to like want to leave the Midwest so much when I was like a kid, but now I've grown to really just appreciate the Midwest.
I think
Yeah.
most kids just want to leave wherever they are, right? Like
Yeah,
the grass is
absolutely.
greener somewhere else. Like I know I had that experience growing up in Idaho. I was like, I got to get out of here, and I love it here. I mean, we've got some issues as a state, but but it's a great state too.
Yeah.
So Michigan and Chicago are really your where you've lived most of your life, right?
Yeah, most majority of my life. I was going to move to New York originally, and then I just kind of fell in love with Chicago by accident and got involved with the underground scene here and just kind of stayed here. So,
Okay.
But
I was telling you I just visited Chicago. I love Chicago so much. I think it's such a great big city. Um, it just seems like it's the Midwest, I guess. I was gonna say it's like
yeah.
nice and clean and fresh air and depending on where you are, relatively safe. I know Chicago gets a bad rep in certain areas for not being safe.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of charm and a lot of character. It's a really cool city. So tell us about your involvement with the underground scene. Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's this whole like my emo diary things has been interesting for me because in Chicago, people mainly know me for my own music and like actually making music and playing shows in Chicago.
Right.
Um, So that's what I was mainly doing. I was playing shows, putting on shows, playing in. I don't. Am I allowed to swear in this?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you can say whatever.
Okay, sorry. Playing in shitty punk bands,
Love it.
really bad bands, and then doing like this alternative hip hop project, which I still do now. So that was how I got in the scene, or at least the DIY scene in Chicago. I just started going to shows and started playing shows, and I just kept showing up and kind of made a name for myself within like certain circles, I guess, within the scene. So
Okay, and do you still play music?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm actually after I'm done with the next couple of books, I'm going to probably put more of my focus back on the music part of things. 'Cause I just really miss playing in shows and I really miss writing songs. So,
That makes sense.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know,
like
yeah.
once you get a taste of like the drug that is performing in front of a live crowd, like my understanding is like it's just something that like you continue to crave because it's just so infectious. Be like just feeling
Yeah.
the energy from the crowd and like the adrenaline that hits you as like a performer. I've personally never experienced that. I don't think Katie has either necessarily. Yeah. I mean,
not
aside from like a good karaoke night, which she's great at karaoke, but
Karaoke's awesome.
yeah, but yeah. So, oh man, that's cool. Sorry, Katie, you were about to say something.
well, one of my favorite questions is about names of bands. Like, so I'm curious what are the band names that you've been in? What's the current band name? Because I just think that band names are so interesting. So whatever you feel comfortable sharing, I would love to hear it. And I don't know
Yeah, well,
about your music side and, being in bands and performing.
yeah, well, first of all, I want to say thank God a lot of those songs are no longer on the internet because, yeah, some of them are, and I'm just hoping that no one ever finds any of this. One band was called Baptism by Fire.
Okay. I'm into
I
that.
don't know why. Yeah, I remember our first gig was like this eighth grade graduation party, and so the guy like he didn't pay us in cash. He's paid us with cake, and
Wait, as in
when I was performing,
like birthday
like
cake?
like yeah, like birthday cake. That was our payment. And he had like these terrible mics. So like the mic stand would not actually like stand correctly. So he had to come up and hold the mic for me the entire time I was
You
performing.
had a human Mike. Was his name
Yes.
Mike? Let's.
No, his name was not Mike. His name was shout out to Billy if he ever hears this. But yeah, yes, Billy. Billy gave us our first gig. It went absolutely terrible. We did all these terrible Nirvana covers, and I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this though.
Yeah.
So it just kept going.
Oh, that's awesome. And what's your
Yeah,
current project or band named?
yeah. My current project is called Boys versus Girls, and that is the alternative um, solo hip hop thing. But I'm thinking of expanding that into a band because I've had a few people reach out and be like, you should make a band out of this because it sounds like a band name anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, that's my main project. Like I'm writing a full book and concept album for that project after I'm done with these two emo indie rock books. So
Okay. What do you mean? A whole book for the band? What do you mean?
yeah, so I'm at a point in my life now where it's like, okay, I'm getting older. I've lost close people to me. So it's making me think about life. And I'm like, you know what? I want to tell my full story. And I have such a crazy story, but I said I want to tell it through art. So I'm like, I'm going to write a book that is about my life and about my music, and because the two obviously are connected, and make a concept album about it as well. So that's going to take up most of my time for most of the remaining half of the year
Okay.
after I'm done with these other two books. So
Okay.
Wow, that sounds
Wow.
interesting. I will be reading it. I mean, I already like the way that you write, so um, that's really cool. So you have a lot of work cut out for you too. Just out of curiosity, it just popped into my head. How long does it take for you to write a book in general?
it really depends. Like it can take sometimes to 5 months, sometimes to a year. Like the first book, say the Quiet Part Out Loud. That took about 5.5 months because I was just relentless with it. I was writing like a crazy person. I was waking up at 4 a.m. every day, just writing nonstop.
Wow.
And then when that book started to do well, to be quite honest with you, it really genuinely freaked me out. So the follow up was supposed to the one that I'm working on now. That was supposed to be done 2 years ago, but I got into this like imposter syndrome thing, and it just really messed with my head for like 2 years. So that's what's been taking this book so long to get out.
Yeah. No, I think that's very understandable and relatable.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe just to like bring it back, I'm curious, like what prompted you to write Say the Quiet Part out loud? And also what like obviously it's volume one, right? And so
hmm
inevitably there will be multiple volumes. I guess what's kind of the thinking there, because there's so much to cover. Sorry, I just asked you like four questions in one
No,
question.
you're okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I always go on so many tangents, so you're fine. Yeah, so the way that the book started is just a hilarious story. So I don't know if you guys remember when we were young fest, that first year that they did it.
Yep.
sure.
So me and my best friend, we bought tickets to day one. It was our first time ever in Vegas. We were so excited. We were like, oh, let's put on the emo playlist. Like, we're about to relive our glory days. So that was the day that they canceled that show. So they canceled that show. We did not have tickets for day two. And so we and like 80,000 other emos were just sad walking around Las Vegas. And my friend just said in a very joking way, he's like, you know what? You love this genre so much, you should just write a book about it. And I said, that's silly. And so we get back to Chicago. I then made a TikTok as a joke saying, I said something along the lines that I'm going to write this book about emo music because I felt like this was a part of popular youth culture that just is not talked about enough. That video went viral, and then I was like, oh shit, I actually have to write a book. So that is how this came along, was a total accident.
A total accident.
I'm
Total accident.
I'm here
Total
for
accident. I
it.
mean, I love the genre obviously, but um,
But it was the
yeah, just like
pressure or the attention that your TikTok got that really made you feel like you had to do it, right?
not really, not
Okay.
really. Like I felt inspired by it, and I was just like,
Okay.
well, honestly, I've always wanted to write a book about emo. It's like this was a part of music that really shaped my life and really, saved my life multiple times. And I was like, screw it, let's just go for it. And I remember telling my partner, I was like, honestly, maybe 50 people might buy this, but it doesn't matter. This is just kind of fun to do. And then it sold like 5,000 copies, and I was just independently, and I was just like, this is very interesting and
And
odd.
we should just like pause there and celebrate that, because that is not a small feat. Like that is a
Yeah.
huge deal. There are people who, they sign book deals with the hope of selling a bunch of books, and
Mhm.
there's just so many to do that self-publish and that quantity, and it continues to sell through and like has made its dent on the emo universe. That is like kudos. That is a big deal.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's just been like so many cool little things have happened since writing this. First of all, like even doing this, like honestly, like I genuinely feel so honored to have the opportunity to talk to you guys. Like stuff like this is like this is cool. This is stuff that like I didn't think would ever happen. I mean, I have a pretty normal life for the most part. I'm like I clean condos around the city when I'm not doing this stuff.
Right.
So it's been things like this or like the manager of Never Shout Never and Say Anything just like hit me up and was just like, oh hey, I've been seeing your stuff. It's like, what is happening right now? This is so bizarre. So it's just been a really cool, really, really cool thing. 16-year-old me would I think would be very excited.
Ugh,
So
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've learned just from the creating this podcast and putting ourselves out there in the emo world is that people are just interested in connecting with other people who are similar minded and have the similar interests. Because we kind of just started this on our own and we were like, hey, Nani and I found each other. We found out that we love the same type of music. And now
Specifically,
talking to cool people all the time. So it's so awesome that and people are just happy and stoked to do it. So that's been our experience too.
Yeah. And I'll say really quickly, it was Emery. Emery was our common denominator. When we learned that we both were obsessed with Emery, we were like, wait, you know Emery? Wait, what? You love them too?
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what I love about this music. It's just like it really, I mean, I guess every genre has its own like community, obviously, but there's just something very special about emo alternative music that I don't know. I think it brings people together. So
yeah, and we've talked about it on the podcast before, and I'd love to hear your perspective of it, but there was something very special about the scene in its, you know, what do we call that? Is that second wave or third wave? The like 2000s?
Third wave.
Third wave.
Yeah. Third.
So like that third wave emo scene was so special because it was bands helping other bands, kind of like that concept of all tides rise. And it was like this, everybody was kind of helping each other, and like bands were getting bigger because they were bringing out their friends' bands or whatever. And you touch on that in the book multiple times. But like, I don't feel like we've seen that kind of camaraderie since then. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of that. Cause it was it was such a cool thing to see happen. And I didn't even see it happening until after the fact, like looking back on it. Obviously things are 2020, but just such a cool thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like because like during that time, it's like, yes, the internet existed, social media kind of existed, but it wasn't really what it is now. So there's almost like this innocence to that moment and bands helping bands and even the way people promoted themselves on the internet. No one was worried about looking cringe. No one was worried about being canceled or like, you know what I mean? All this other stuff that came later.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and also it's like one of the last times before the internet divided everything into like little niche islands. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think scenes always exist, and there's a very rich scene here in Chicago, but I don't know if something like that can happen again just because of where we are as far as technology and the way the world is set up now. But that moment, I do think about that a lot where I'm like, man, I really wish I would have appreciated that a lot more. Because when you're that age, like you just think it's going to last forever and you don't think like, oh, things do change. And oh, wait, this guy who I used to love in this band is like almost 50 now. This is very wild, you know, it's so weird.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah, I just have to say, one of my favorite examples of like somebody in the emo sphere contributing to an unknown band is Mark Hoppus from Blink-182. Again, well, that's my favorite band of all time, so I know maybe too much about him. But Mark volunteered to do guest vocals on Simple Plan's like initial hit, "I Do Anything," and I don't even know if he like made them pay him for it. Maybe they did, or like maybe he gets royalties now. I don't know. But Simple Plan was an unknown band. Blink-182 was like pretty dang famous at the time. And Mark, the story is at least that Mark reached out and was like, hey, I love this song. I'd like to do some backing vocals. And like, that's punk rock. Like, that's so awesome to
Absolutely.
Just try to help out another band that you enjoy. Like, that's great.
Yeah, no, and Blink, like they really did champion a lot of like younger bands at that time. Even like Taking Back Sunday, they were huge advocates for Taking Back Sunday. Mm-hmm. I think Tom directed This Photograph Is Proof for Where You Want to Be. Tom directed that music video. Yeah, they also were like huge fanatics for My Chemical Romance before they were like My Chemical Romance. So
right.
I think enough people don't give Blink-182 credit for a lot of things. Like they are just one of the greatest bands ever.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not in the same fandom level as Katie, but yeah, they're amazing. And you know, something you just said, like, I feel like I'm going to have these light bulbs throughout our entire conversation, but so much of this information lives rent-free like in our heads because it was part of our adolescence. It's part of our personality and like the ether that we we just know it because we were all in the scene, right? But how did you do all the research for the book? There's so many quotes. There's so much information. Like, I guess, yeah. How did you do the research for it? And also, like, how did you decide what to keep and what to omit? Because this book could be like, it could be, I don't know how many volumes, so many volumes, because there's so much nuance.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just literally reading a shit ton of interviews and watching a shit ton of a lot of bands. I didn't realize released like their own mini documentaries during that time. So I watched a bunch of documentaries and I was reading just a crap load of interviews. As far as what I wanted to keep, I kept trying to, because like you just said, there's so much you can write. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to like get lost. Let me just try to stick to one thing. My approach was, let me find the records that I felt were the most impactful for whatever band during that particular time. Now, in hindsight, I'm like, actually, I do think I should have went deeper. And that's what I'm trying to do now for the second one. And another reason why it's taking so long. But for me, my approach for the first one was, let me focus on the albums that really impacted the culture during that particular time and just kind of narrow in on that. Because there's just too much to write. When you read about any of these, like even now for the second one, some of these bands, I finished a chapter on Chiodos, and I was just like, oh my goodness, there's so much to write about this band. I think I wrote almost like 50 pages for just that.
Just for Craig Owens.
Yeah, yes. So just, and maybe because they're from Michigan, so I could be biased, but like, but just like, there's so much to write.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me you're including Circus Survive in the second book.
I have to, because several people have asked me to include them. People have asked me. So it's like I have a long list of bands to include for the second one. Yeah, it's taken much longer than the first one. I think it's much better. It's more information, but it still flows, I think, without the reader feeling like overwhelmed at the same time.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Great. Are you going to share your Circus Survive story?
I mean, I probably should. I used to manage Circus Survive.
You cannot just like casually be like, yeah, I used to manage them. Nothing. It's like, what? That's awesome.
Yeah. So just so Katie and I have very different backgrounds, but very similar backgrounds in the sense that, as you, right? We all grew up in the scene. We all love music. We're all just, like, we're millennials who they like just love this music, have always loved this music. But my path took me from I went to school for music business, and then I worked in the music business for the majority of my career up until the last it's probably been like 8 years. I'm back in music adjacent right now, but like about 8 years ago is when I stopped managing bands. I think I just took a break from the industry just because. But yeah. But like Anthony Green, he was a very big part of the scene, at least. And that's why I was talking about like these sub kind of cultures that existed geographically speaking too. But yeah, like the Craig Owens and the Anthony Greens and there are some of these frontmen that were just such big pieces of the scene that like, I as I was reading the book, I'm like, oh man, you've got so much to write about. Like, that's why I thought you did a great job of carving out this book, because like you said, there's so many different like lanes that you could go down. How do you stick to one lane?
Hard. It's hard.
It's so hard. Like, props to you for being able to keep the narrative moving and not like having a squirrel thought like going left and right.
Yeah.
But the
I
other
actually might rewrite parts of part one, though. I was rethinking that to probably add some like bonus chapters, because some of those bands I'm like, there should be more in there. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so how we kind of described it when we last talked about it was that it's like a emo 101 book. Like, it's
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of stories that we were familiar with, but we're also huge fans of the scene. But there was also information that we didn't have. And so you can either be like learn some new stuff like we did, or learn kind of the basics, quote unquote basics. I don't know. I feel bad saying that because
that is correct, because like so much of my primary audience is mainly on TikTok. That's what I'm mainly on. I honestly hate Instagram with a passion, but I use it because you have to use all the freaking things. But most of my audience is like Gen Z, like these younger, like 19, 20-year-old kids who, for them, they look at this like classic rocks. You know what I mean? So it's like so it's just like
crazy.
Yeah, they'll be like, I didn't know about this song, or I didn't know about this album. Like, how did you not hear till all your friends? Like, what are you talking about? But then I'm like, wait a minute, what I am now, as my friend pointed out, we are the generation now that are historians. Like, so I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So it's just like, damn, I didn't know. We became grown-ups and no one told me. So
well, and I love that, like, you're also giving all the tea in this book of like the drama and the Jesse Lacey. Why am I forgetting the other person? All of a sudden, it was
Adam Lazzara.
Thank you, and Adam Lazzara. It's such important context. Like, and there's so much of it's like, what a fun time. I love that you're doing this, because if you're not doing it, who is, right? Like, it's such a cool piece of kind of like history to encapsulate and also be able to educate the youngsters on.
The youngsters.
Yeah, because and I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like third wave emo in that time in all of our lives was one of the last really important youth subcultures to exist in that type of way. Because like you had grunge in the 90s, obviously, for like Gen X was grunge and all of that. And then it was our generation. It was emo music. A lot of it was emo music that defined our generation.
Right.
And now we kind of live in this weird place where it's like, again, everybody, you can have 3 million followers, yet nobody can know who the hell you are.
Yep.
Because everyone's like on their own little island now. So I think it's just important to talk about this music that, in my opinion, was one of the last great real movements for youth culture.
Yeah. And I think you made a really great point earlier. Like, I don't know if it can never happen again. You never know, it might, but music is now so accessible, and all of the like catalogs are so accessible. So people are listening to stuff from like the 50s, 60s, all these generations that like there's just so much music now, and it's all at your fingertips. So like, how do you even make a dent, right? So it is the like 3 million follower person who's selling out clubs across the country, but it's maybe happening in more of a silo or an island.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, wait. So we've gotten some of your personality already in this podcast, but there's a lot of your personality in the book. And was that like a cognitive choice? Like, did you decide that you like wanted to talk about yourself? And like, I caught on to it pretty quickly early on in the book, and I'm like, ooh, I like this. So it was cool to hear like your tone and your perspective. Did you, instead of it being like strictly like this is the history of emo, you tied some of your personal story into it? So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like when I make music, where I always think about what's the band, or like what is the song that I want to hear? Let me try to create that. And it's the same thing with reading, where for me, at least, as a reader, I don't like reading books where it's like, this happened, and then this happened, then this happened, the end. Like, it's just, like, I want to know, and especially, like, in this era that we're, in an era right now where people kind of don't give a fuck about artists or, like, creative people, it's important to me that you should have some sense of who you are stamped on whatever your art is. So people know that it is still you. Because otherwise, you just become, anybody could write that. ChatGPT could write the fucking book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just like, for me, it's important for me to include my own personal stories, because this music was tied so closely to my teenage experience, and especially because I was literally homeless. My entire teenage experience, I was homeless. And this music, it meant too much for me not to talk about my own. There's no way I could write and not talk about some of the things I went through simultaneously while I was listening to this music. So there is probably a little less of that on the second one, just because I feel more detached in some way to the second one, I think, in some weird way. So it's a little less of that. But for the first one, it really was just like my heart on my sleeves. I was like, this is just genuinely, this is just how I have to communicate this. So
that totally makes sense. And I guess it's maybe similar to like a debut album versus like a sophomore album, right? It's
yes, that's excellent. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah.
So is it fair to say then that the bands that you focused on in Volume 1 are like hugely influential to you and impactful to you, probably more so than Volume 2?
Yes, I think that would be beyond fair. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely bands in Volume 2 for sure, but I feel like the first one was more me being selfish for me and just kind of writing the book that I wanted to see. And the second one is more for it's honestly more for the audience. If they wanted a part 2, I promised the part 2, and
I want a part 2.
I was like, yeah. So and it's been fun. It's just been a different experience than the first one, I would say.
Right.
But this one is definitely more for the reader, which is why I feel a little more removed from it, but still passionate about it. Just a little different. I don't know how to articulate that, but it just feels a little different. So
fair. How'd you pick the title for it?
It was just random. I just honestly I think because like when I think about emo music, I think that's kind of my idea, that it was like saying the quiet part out loud, like talking about mental health and talking about these like uncomfortable feelings. And that's why I think that's kind of why emo had such a backlash. At the same time, it was like popular and a backlash because it was talking about these things that most people keep to themselves. And so that kind of inspired the title. And I was like, oh, okay, I think sounds good. So,
well, and it's kind of is idiom the word I'm looking for? It's like a saying that people say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
But I just have to ask, I Googled where that came from earlier today, and it was like the AI results, so I don't know if it's accurate, but do you know what it said about where that phrase originates from?
No.
It said it's
now I'm nervous.
It says it's often traced back to like a 1995 episode of The Simpsons.
What?
Which,
awesome.
That was like the AI response. I'm sure it's been used in pop culture in many different ways, but that was like the top result. Is it's often traced back to, I think like Krusty the Clown said it or something.
Wow, no, that's wild. I feel honored.
Well, and The Simpsons was a big part of my life growing up, so.
Yeah, it's a big part of my partner's life. I didn't watch it as much, but he is like a massive Simpson person, so.
So I just had to share a 1995 episode of The Simpsons. I just Googled it again. Krusty the Clown accidentally reveals an ulterior motive and confesses, in quotes, let's just say it moved me to a bigger house. Oops, I said the loud part quiet and the quiet part loud. So
now I'm going to watch that episode because I never knew that.
It's called A Star Is Burns. So sorry, I just had to share that because I learned that today.
No, I'm glad you did. Yeah.
And Volume 2 is going to be Say the Quiet Part Out Loud Volume 2, right?
Yes, Volume 2. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Nani, what were you saying?
No, I was like, and this is one of the reasons I love Katie, because she will do these deep dives, and I've already said that she's a lawyer. I just love her so much. She's the best.
I think that's, first of all, it's so awesome that you're a lawyer and you're like also like emo as fuck. I just think that's so cool.
I know, right? Oh, she's like such a badass babe, like boss babe. She's so cool.
Nani is really good at talking people up.
I'm just a fan. I mean, also, I got to give respect where respect is due.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I got us off track a little bit.
Such is the nature of this podcast. Who cares?
Exactly. It's more fun that way, I think. Honestly, I think it's more fun that way. It's just like a conversation.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want me? I have so many questions. You want to keep going, Katie?
No, I think you read the book more recently, so I think if you have like specific questions about that,
okay,
and then we can talk about kind of what's next and the brand and overall, I would say.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so one of the things that you called out, and okay, you called out a couple of things in this book that I was so excited about. One, you mentioned the receiving end of Sirens. There was a reference to Brendan Brown, who is the guitarist and vocalist, one of the guitarists and vocalists in Receiving End of Sirens, and I love them so much. And I didn't have any idea who that band was because I grew up on in the Northwest area of the United States, and I went to school in the Northeast area of and back to this like kind of geographic thing. I learned about them in college. And it was so exciting to me that they were in the book because they were on tour, I think, with Acceptance and Panic at the Disco. And it was kind of during that Panic at the Disco, those chapters that you wrote about, because it was just like such a crazy rocket ship.
I mean, their blow up is wild.
Like,
yeah, wild.
But you know what you did is you also like, that sounded like, you know what you did. No, more so like that story too. It has so much depth to it around the Ryan Ross drama and all of these things. And I thought you did a beautiful job of like telling the story without getting into all of like the nitty gritty. Again, I'm just curious, like, how did you decide what to include in some of that stuff?
Yeah. So like, honestly, again, I was just going by what I think was important or interesting at that time,
right.
What I thought was relevant to the scene at that time. But I did want to be careful at the same time. Like, I didn't want it to become like endless drama or like
right.
overly detailed, because I'm like, well, there's real people behind these bands.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not in this so I can like, oh, let me just put in the juicy details so I can get as much clout as possible. I'm like, well, as an artist, I would not want someone writing crazy about me. You know what I mean? Like, so certain things I feel like this is not my place, or like, I'm just going to kind of remove myself from this, give people enough. And if they want to go further, then by all means go further. But I'm not, because like, even like, as I was promoting the book, people would sometimes sends me like crazy stories about some of these bands that I just did not feel comfortable writing about at all. I'm like, I don't know if that, I'm not saying your experience was not real or whatever, but I'm not putting this in my book. Like, this just feels uncomfortable. So I just picked what I thought was interesting for the reader again, but at the same time, I was trying my best to still be respectful to the artists too, if that makes sense.
Totally. Well, there's two sides to every story, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I tried to be as fair as I could. Like,
yeah, and like it's your this book is your creative direction, so like you can choose the path that you want. But I thought it was really nice the way that you approached some of these more tricky scenarios. While
especially
also
brand new. Yeah,
and keeping the integrity of the story there, but also, you know, respecting kind of all of the parties at play at the same time.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Brand New has been one of my favorite bands for my whole life, and there's obviously a lot of drama surrounding that. So I was glad that you touched on it. I mean, we can maybe talk offline more details about it because it's not something that's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And some people were legitimately mad at me for even including them.
They were so hugely influential, though.
I was going to say, it's one of those things, and this maybe is like a generation disconnect, maybe, where I think a lot of younger generations, their hearts are in the right place, but you cannot leave out the ugly parts of history because you don't like it, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, Brand New, there's a lot there, but Brand New were undeniably impactful within this culture. Mm-hmm. That is a fact. Like, regardless of how you feel about that band and that man in particular, is almost irrelevant to if you're just looking at it from like their music and the impact they actually had on emo music. That's a separate thing. So I'm like, it would be dishonest for me not to include them. They were massive during that time. So, but yeah, some people were mad that I put them even in the book, which I thought was just so weird. But
cancel culture is strong and people have really strong opinions. There's also, I mean, we probably don't want to talk about it too much, but having no chance for redemption in your life is also not something that I agree with.
As you guys have probably seen some of my interesting videos on Instagram, I'm 100% on that same team where I try to be as nuanced as I possibly can be, and I believe in certain things, but I cannot partake in anything where it's like your humanity is robbed from you forever. Like there's no redeeming qualities. Like I can't get on that bandwagon personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
agreed. There is a lot of nuance in life in general.
I,
yes,
being an adult is hard too, just generally speaking too.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Um, well, and I should touch on this too. I thought you did like a really beautiful job of sharing your experience within the scene and like the different minority groups that kind of that were within the scene. And again, like when you're in it and you're younger, you don't necessarily like see the full picture. And so like talking about how Hayley Williams has been such like a great I think the word I'm going to use is probably idol because I feel like she represents all of these different like women and the queer community. And she does such a great job of respecting and making sure that all of these different minority groups are seen. But like when we were younger, at least from my perspective, and I'd love to hear your perspective, it's, yeah, it was a very like white male dominated scene for the most part. And so
Yeah.
Still is.
it still is. Yeah. And hearing your voice talk about your experience and point of view, I would just love to hear more about it because I thought you did a great job of that in the book as well.
No, I appreciate that because I think, again, I think when you're in it, especially if you are that audience, right? Like if you look like the band that you're watching and you're 16, 17 years old, you're not really thinking about like, oh, what about everyone else? You're not, and that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's just like it's not something you're thinking about. It's not
Right.
your experience. And for me, like even me going to sometimes to shows, it was interesting because like I never really thought about race in that sense until it became very obvious like, oh, I guess this does matter to some people. Because like people look at you weird or people just it was odd for me just because it's like, well, here's this music that means so much to me that's literally stopped me from killing myself. And yet some people within this space, it's like, oh, you don't even want me here. So it was just a very weird experience. There's a moment where I did have like some resentment towards the scene for like a couple of years that I got over that, but it was difficult to navigate because you already were part of a subculture of people who felt like they did not fit in.
Right.
So then you would think that like naturally they would be more welcoming because it's like, oh well, you know how isolation feels.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like isolated among the isolated. This is weird. So
Totally. Oh, and just
yeah, but
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say. So it was weird. I mean, overall, I've had good experiences, but there definitely moments where it's just like, yeah, I don't think I feel welcome here. This is because I don't think about. I grew up in a very kind of diverse area, and I have friend groups of all kinds. So like, I don't really think about things in those terms until I'm in those situations, and I'm like, oh, everyone did not grow up the way that I did. So it's like, okay,
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, go ahead, Katie.
Well, I was just going to say, and we're women, obviously. So young women in general weren't treated very well. And you talk about specific examples related to Hayley Williams about that, which is just gross and disgusting, being sexualized at 16 as anyone, but as a performer, like as the lead of this band that's touring and doing Warped Tour. And obviously there's a bunch of stories of young women being taken advantage of at Warped Tour. Like there's mess behind the scene, totally. Like there absolutely is. And so I appreciate that you shared that, just because that's the reality. Again, here we talk about it, there's greatness, but there's messiness too.
yeah. I mean, the thing that upsets me though about the young women part though is like, whether it's emo punk music, whatever alternative subculture you can think of, or even pop, rock and roll, whatever. The reason these bands exist is literally because of young women. the like young women are the reason these bands have careers.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones buying merch. They're the ones who's passionate and waiting 6 hours before a fucking show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of those things, like it really irks me on such a fundamental level. And even Chicago, even big Chicago, you think it's like, oh, it's so progressive, whatever. It's like even within the scene in Chicago, I've talked to a number of young women who have gone through similar things that you guys probably went through in during the third wave emo in like 2018, 2019. Like this is like,
Yeah.
it just bothers me so badly because we're supposed to be so much better than this. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, I'm sorry.
No.
I really rant quite a bit. Go ahead.
No, I'm with you. I think like what gives me, I guess, comfort is that like I know we're getting better. The steps might not be huge, but like it is slowly getting better, regardless of like the speed, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought you did it again. I keep complimenting you on this book, but you do a great job of like telling the narrative that it existed and
still exists. And,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's really nice because you touch on all these things, whether comfortable or uncomfortable, in a way that is very approachable, which is why we keep coming back to this Emo 101 book, because if you don't really understand the scene, or you weren't in it at the time, like it really does give you like an excellent pulse for like that era. So
I appreciate it. That's what I was trying so hard to do. So I just wanted to be as nuanced as possible for the whole book. So.
Yeah. Speaking of nuance, a quick little fun fact for you. You referenced the Antler Boy in the Fall Out Boy music video. So Antler Boy is actually Donald from a band. He's the lead singer of a band called The Virgins. And I used to manage The Virgins also. And so I had to tell you.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah, you'll have to go listen to The Virgins. They have a song called Rich Girl that's really good. They're more like New York rock and roll. They're not like emo or anything from the scene. But yeah, Donald's Antler Boy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. I literally had no idea. I thought it was just like some actor that they like cast, whatever.
He did a lot of modeling, so that it's not the weirdest thing in the world.
Ooh, wait, another fun fact, which maybe you know, and back to Blink-182, of course. The music video for I Miss You has Hilary Duff in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
She's one of the girls that I don't know like the style of makeup or whatever, but like when you watch it now, and if you're looking for her, you'll see her. But it's like the very gothic-y whole music video, and like
That's wild.
she's in that music
and I've
video.
seen that video so many times. Like,
yeah, and then and then there's like the obvious ones, like when Katy Perry was in the Gym Class Heroes music video, because they were dating at the time. Oh my God, I have so many stories. I went on Warped Tour.
you played Warped Tour.
Yeah, I was on that entire year of Warped Tour. Another little emo fact about me. I had a clothing company in college called Bank Clothing, and we went on Warped Tour, and we were known for making like a little bit more street oriented, like the cross between maybe hip hop and scene, or like hip hop and emo. We made clothing that kind of fit that like aesthetic, if you will. And so we had clothing on all sorts of different bands, and we had our clothing in Hot Topic and Zoomies, and it was a wild time for us. So my experience with the scene is very, I would say, maybe unique, because I approached it from a couple different angles, and I was fortunate enough to have some weird memories on Warped Tour, but nothing bad, which is good. I've only had good experiences on Warped Tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're an icon. That's pretty cool.
I don't know about that. I'm shaking my head over here. You're listening to us, but visually I'm shaking my head. I am not.
You are. Own it.
No. Oh my gosh. See, this is what happens when you're having fun talking to somebody. I looked up. I'm like, we've already been talking for 50 minutes. Holy crap.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Katie, I'm sure you have more questions. I know we have a rapid fire for you at the end. So
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe it's just a good time to kind of talk about. So you've said multiple times you're working on volume 2. Do you have a release time, or is that still kind of in the works?
It's still kind of in the works. I keep telling myself I want it by the end of summer. That is my goal.
Okay.
That's my goal is by the end of summer to have it done. I don't think I'm going to, so originally it's going to be like another volume after that. I don't think I'm going to do another volume, honestly. I think this is it. And then write a book about indie rock music, like about the Strokes and whatever. And then I think that's it. I think I'm just going to focus on my own stuff after that. So.
Sure, totally. Well, and I just have to also say, so you've written other books, right? You've written was Say the Quiet Part Out Loud Volume 1 the first one you've written?
No, so I've been writing. Yeah, no, I've been writing my whole life. The first book I ever published was a self-help book, which I unpublished 2 years ago after this book started to take off. It's like, no one shall find this. That was like 2013 or 2014. It was like the first book I released. Then I did like a kid's book, which I did a re-release of, Vampire Dad.
Yeah, I saw that one on Amazon.
Yeah, but I was a weird kid. I was always just like, I was alone a lot, so I literally would just write pretty much all day, write and draw, and just make up stories. So
I love that.
But yeah, no, a lot of people have asked me, oh, you got lucky on your first book. I'm like, no, dude, I've been writing for a long time. This was not my first book. Yeah.
And well, that's same old story of being like overnight sensation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, dude, they've been touring for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
for real. Well,
and then A Brief Inquiry into the 1975 too. You wrote that book,
yeah,
right?
so yeah, that was another one that was by accident, sort of. A lot of these things happen by accident. TikTok kept asking me, and as I was writing it, Maddie Healy then followed me, and then he messaged me, and he was very nice. Yeah, so it was very weird. Just like, okay, now I feel like I have to listen to this band differently and write differently now, or something. It was very weird. But yeah, that happened by an accident, and then when he hit me up, then I felt like, all right, let me finish this. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not a 1975 fan, I have to say, but
they're so amazing. I love them. Anyway, but I understand. Maddie can be. He's not everyone's cup of tea.
Well, so. And let me just say, I probably haven't given them the time or attention. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not a fan. Sorry, I just haven't tried them out.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Nani, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I wanted to ask a little bit. I mean, yes, I love 1975, but I too don't listen to them as much as I probably should. And that you could write a book on Swemo, just saying, like, speaking of Maddie Healy, Taylor Swift, emo music, Swemo, it's a whole thing. That would be an epic book.
Yeah,
but
I've thought about that actually.
Right. My question for you though is around self-publishing, because I know we both had this question for you, because you've self-published all of these books. So, like, what does that look like? Is it? Just say more, I guess.
Yeah. So it's really pretty straightforward. Like, so Amazon has a program called KDP, which allows writers to self-publish their work. You just literally just upload your manuscript or whatever, and it takes like maybe a couple days or whatever, and then they put it out on Amazon, and you can order a bunch of physical copies. And that's really what I did. It was just like because that's what I've been using since 2013, 2014.
Wow.
So I approached it the same way. Again, I didn't expect, because even before I released the book, for Say the Quiet Part Out Loud, I did like an email list, and I maybe had like 20 people signed up. So that's what I was expecting, like maybe 20 to 50 people, not all of this other stuff. So like it was just literally took a life of its own that I genuinely did not anticipate at all. But I was like, let me just remain self-published, because I've read horror stories from people who are, on the more traditional side, and sometimes these book deals can screw you over. So I said, I'm like, as someone who comes from the DIY scene, I'm just like, I'm just going to remain DIY. So
I love that. Have you been in touch with any publishers to feel it out, especially after Say the Quiet Part Out Loud?
Yeah, I've had a couple of people reach out to me, like indie publishing, nothing like crazy. But I don't know, maybe because maybe I'm like paranoid by nature. I just I kind of like the way that this is. I like having a
Yeah.
direct kind of communication with my audience. I know
Totally.
where the books are coming from. I'm just signing these books in my kitchen. I don't know, I like that very like anyone can do this vibe, because that's why I got into all of this in the first place, was that feeling that, oh, I could do this too. So I'm like, I just want to kind of stick to that. If it ever gets to a really crazy point or something, maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I kind of just like the way that it is.
Yeah, well, and I think that's just a sign of the times too, and the changes. Like big publishing companies were kind of necessary to be able to get your books or whatever out there.
Yeah.
Now, it's just you can get it out there yourself pretty easily. Same with making your own music or whatever else. You know, it's just so much easier to be like direct to consumer now. And I think that's great. And I'm glad it's worked out. And then it sounds like the success of Say the Quiet Part Out Loud was largely because of TikTok. I know that's how I discovered it. Like I saw one of your videos and I was like, I gotta buy this. So I think I bought it straight from TikTok, which is not something that I have done much of ever.
A lot of people have said that, where like, I usually don't buy anything from TikTok Shop, but I'm going to buy this. So I was like, oh, thank you very much. But yeah, TikTok really kind of changed my life, which sounds so ridiculous and weird, but but it did.
I think it's done that for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
truly a lot of people. But I was just going to say, like, it's also very punk rock of you and very like, you know, in tune with like the world of emo that you are self-publishing too. So it all kind of makes sense to me. And yes, he does sign every copy if you buy a physical book, right?
That's right.
It's so cool. I know. Yeah, I noticed that last night. I'm like, this is awesome. Okay, Katie, what other questions do you have? I don't want to keep you forever. I feel like we could talk forever.
Just talk about My Emo Diaries a little bit. So, it looks like that's largely a TikTok thing. You post very frequently. But you also like have a website where you can join a book club. And so just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, My Emo Diaries originally started out as me throwing these like emo indie rock dance parties in the city, in Chicago. I would just do like these DJ things, these small things, and then evolved into the books and all of that. My grand master plan, I'm like, I would love to have this evolve into like some like a alternative media brand where I release movies and like books and music and all types of stuff. But yeah, right now it's like it's the books. After the books, I do, like I say, I want to focus on my own music and kind of maybe turn My Emo Diaries into like an indie label or something, because like you know, I know a bunch of musicians in Chicago, obviously, and I don't know, just kind of see where it goes. But I would like to have it be like this media brand. That is my ultimate goal with it.
Okay, Pete Wentz, I see you.
Yeah. Yes. Shout out to Pete.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that just made me think. Were you in Chicago at the same time that Pete was having like his like
tennis stuff?
his
No.
time and his moment? Okay.
Sadly, no. I came literally like 2 years after that.
Wow.
Like, yeah, 2 or 3 years after that. Yeah. I was in Michigan during that time.
It would have been such an interesting time to be in Chicago, like in that scene within the city with, you know? Yeah.
They're like heroes in Chicago. So,
Yeah.
hometown heroes.
Yeah. Yeah,
When
for
I
sure.
said tennis, because didn't Pete do a tennis club a couple of years ago in Chicago one day?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
that's
Which
where my
is so
brain went.
random.
I think he did a couple of them, and one of them was in Chicago, maybe LA. He's like, Pete
Yeah.
Wentz Tennis Club, and you could buy a shirt. I was like,
That's
all right.
right.
I love Pete. I was like, he's just such an inspiration to me. He's just such a funny person naturally.
Yeah, and businessman, right? Like he's always going after like the next opportunity. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a respect. Well, should we hit you with the rapid fire question, or is there anything else we want to touch on, Katie?
No, I think rapid fire.
Okay. Do you want to ask him, or you want me to ask him?
You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So just kind of like whatever comes to mind, right? Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Your first concert ever.
Fall Out Boy.
Wow. Speaking of Pete Wentz,
enough.
favorite
Yeah.
band.
Nirvana.
Ooh, I expected
Yeah.
1975.
No, Nirvana's my favorite band of all time.
I love that. Favorite album.
Never mind.
Okay.
And wait, and who is that?
Nirvana.
Oh, it is. Okay. I should know that,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Turns out I don't like grunge music as much as I thought. Best live show you've ever seen?
The 1975,
Okay.
3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the most emo thing about you?
I'm very moody.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love. A band that you wish you would have seen sooner than you did
Or haven't yet.
or haven't. Yeah.
Well, he's dead. Nirvana.
Fair.
It would have been Nirvana.
That is
Fair.
so fair. And then what are you listening to right now?
Oh, what are these days? This is not emo at all, actually. The latest Drake album
Oh,
that came
wow.
out like last week. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I've
That
actually
makes
enjoyed it quite a bit.
I need
So,
I need to listen to that. We say this, well, at least I say this joke about me. I went from emo, like emo, to EDM because I
yes,
like
that pipeline is so real. Yes.
it is so real. That's another book.
Yeah.
It's another book.
Yeah, that's actually in part 2. Like I talk about Skrillex and all that, and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
Cool. Oh, I'm so excited for the second book. This is great.
Yeah.
Is Emery in the second book?
What's that?
Is Emery in the second book?
They are not, no. But I may add them now. Originally, no, they were not.
Well,
We
if
don't want to add more work to your plate. But.
I know, right? But if you
Yeah.
maybe you should send him the video, Katie. But Katie,
Can you give me? So sorry. Can you give me 1 second?
yeah,
Sure.
Super sorry.
We don't need to bring up the video again.
I have to. It's so good though.
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
I find it iconic.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's a strong word. No, all good. We've held you longer than we expected already. So
Yeah.
thanks for hanging
Okay.
with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say though quickly is one of the reasons why Emery, like we love, it's the mutual love that we have of Emery, but I found out, and Katie shared it with me, that she was in like a fan competition, like music video contest where Emery was like, make your fan video or whatever. And Katie was like the temptress woman, like lead character in this redo of it. It's so good. You have to send it to him.
With like a group of my high school friends, you know.
Okay. I may have to include them in the second one.
Oh my gosh.
Still on YouTube. But it was cool that they did that. For the song So Cold I Could See My Breath, Emery did a video contest. It was like, hey, submit your fan videos and we'll pick a winner and that will be like our
Yeah.
music video.
Yeah.
Which is a cool, like that's a great way to get people involved, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Well, go ahead, Katie.
Well, I was just going to say, I think we should wrap it up and Will can tell us where people can find him and shout out whatever you want. I mean, stay tuned for Say the Quiet Part Out Loud, Volume 2, and your other book that you've mentioned that we didn't even really talk about, which is You Talk Way Too Much, a book on 2000s indie rock, which is also coming out sometime soon. But yeah, feel
that'll
free
be
to
in
shout
fall.
out whatever else and where people can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, My Emo Diaries. I also have a music account, but we'll share that at some future point. But follow My Emo Diaries on Instagram, on TikTok, and look out for the next couple of books. Hopefully they'll be done by the end of the year, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been so fun talking with you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. It's just awesome to talk to somebody who you've never met before, but you have so much in common with because of what we grew up in and the music and the
This is
stories.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. I genuinely, truly appreciate it. So
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been great, and we can't wait to read the next one. We will be one of the first people to buy it. I will tell you that. And I'm curious about the 2000s indie rock one, too. So I just can't wait to see more of what you're putting together and what you're creating.
Yeah. You've got
Cool.
2 fans in us.
much appreciated.
Well, that was so much fun talking with Will. I mean, it was just so easy to talk, and I feel like we could have talked for, honestly, hours.
Yeah. I know I said it to you, and I can't remember if I said it to him like in the moment or after the interview, but I thought like it's just so crazy to me that you can feel so connected to somebody that you've never met before based on the music that like was our like foundational upbringing music. Like we were both part of the same scene in different parts of the country, but yeah, it was just super special.
It was. So thanks for joining us, Will. But now let's get into some emo news.
Emo news.
Which pew, pew, pew. We have some things on the list. I'll start out just quickly. All American Rejects did like House Party Tour Part 2. And this is now a couple weeks old by the time we're recording this. But their first show was in Spokane, Washington, which is not, I mean, it's like 10 hours from us, but it's like it feels close. You know what I mean? Closer than the last House Party Tour, which was like very Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, but the way the bird, like for us to drive up there, like it could take days. But the way the bird flies or the crow flies, like it's in the same state.
Well, it's in Washington. We're in Idaho.
Oh, I forget about it. Sorry. When you say Spokane, I think of Coeur d'Alene. It's same, you know, it's across the border. Coeur d'Alene,
Their first show was in Spokane, and then their next show the next night was in Medford, Oregon, which is like even, you know, getting a little bit closer. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if they are going to be in Boise the next day? Turns out they didn't. They went down to California, which is fine. But would have been pretty awesome if Idaho was on their on their House Party Tour stop. Excuse me. But I just love what they're doing.
I know. I would like to see them again. That was seeing them at the state fair was so crazy. I don't know if you guys if you haven't heard that version or that episode that we talked about my attendance of the Idaho State Fair, or is it like I think it's the Idaho State Fair, the one
Western
in Boise
Idaho
that I went to. Thank you. But it was crazy because they had the largest attendance on record was the All American Rejects, and I kind of had a feeling that was the case because it was like scary packed, you know, like thankfully I had a little area to stand in, but it was scary packed. And they said that they've never seen anything like it. So I'm excited for the next time that they come back this way.
Yes, definitely. And I'm going to skip to the bottom of our list, but it is All American Rejects related because they also have released Superfan. Do you know anything about this?
No.
So it's a 31 episode scripted series of like mini episodes called Superfan. 31 episodes, but they're like, pretty short clips, mini episodes.
Okay.
But 31 episodes, they call it a comedy thriller. And I only saw a clip of it because you have to pay for a subscription on this app called Candy Jar if you want to watch the entire thing. But they posted a couple teasers on Instagram, and I watched those. And the storyline basically is that the band is kidnapped by the super fan who like forces them to finish their album Sandbox. So it's like very like tongue-in-cheek comedy, thriller, drama, but like cheesy, corny, whatever. The clips I saw were basically stealing from the movie Misery, where Kathy Bates kidnaps that person and like ties him to the bed, and then so like it's very much that. But again, just All American Rejects are doing something cool and unique and interesting, and I love it. So if you want to watch the entire series, you have to download Candy Jar.
I've never even heard of Candy Jar.
I know, me neither.
Gonna have to go learn about it, I guess.
It's like their grassroots campaign, you know, like direct to fan stuff.
Yeah, and also like I love that you're following that so closely because that one completely skipped by me.
Well,
you know what didn't?
These things that you have on here completely skipped by me. So
I was gonna say, you know what didn't skip by me? Youngblood.
Yeah, of course, makes sense.
So, oh gosh, well, okay, so we had talked about it I think prior, but there was that lyric in MGK's new song referencing like child stars turning into whatever, and
rock stars,
yeah, something like that, and
private school kids, something like that,
like and everybody they'd been speculating that it was in reference to Youngblood, and a lot of people were like, no, it's not, like don't make something out of nothing. Well, MGK confirmed it is about Youngblood. So it's like, is this a fake like
feud.
Or is it real? Like, is it for publicity or is it real? And I don't really care either way, if I'm going to be honest, but it was confirmed. And Youngblood currently is out on tour throughout North America, and some of these videos from these shows are just absolutely insane. I went to his last tour in North America, which was amazing. He's gone into even bigger rooms. At like, the guy is selling so many tickets. It's really like, it's quite impressive. But he recently was on his Instagram or TikTok or whatever, on social media, talking about, like, if you follow Youngblood, you probably already know that he has quite a few fans that are considered cougars. And it has become more and more apparent at these shows, to the point where he pretty much was like, you know, I love my cougars, and he like called them out directly and was like, Youngblood runs on cougars. It's so good. And these videos from these shows, it's just people like kissing him and ripping their clothes off and throwing their bra, and it's just mayhem. It reminds me of like back in like Rolling Stones, Beatlemania, like that kind of like out of body experience when you see a rock star and you just immediately have this like visceral or whatever reaction where it's just like, I need to rip my clothes off. It's crazy what's happening out there, though. Like, people are flashing him. He's getting everything. Like, it is the true rock star. At least the edit that they're putting out on social media and painting the picture of like what's going on at these shows is just utter mayhem. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love it. Great.
I'm like, let's bring it back. I think you know, we go through these ebbs and flows of like genres and whatnot, and I just feel like the time is right. We need like a huge rock star, and if it's gonna be Youngblood, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, of course not. You're obsessed. Well, yeah, obsessed is a strong word, but
I'm a big fan, and after seeing him live and seeing him do like the crowd walk where like they, you know, he has people support his like feet and shins, like he'll go out into the it was a really, really good show. And the show that I saw him, he had just gotten fluids and whatnot. It was like the first show back from being really, really sick. And if that was him like at 50% or 70% or whatever version, like I can't even imagine like what he would be like at 100%.
Right.
So yeah, what do you have next?
Well, if we're skipping around on the list, Dexter and the Moonrocks feels like what I should talk about, which, you know, talk about the alternative. Big fan of Dexter and the Moonrocks. They consider themselves Western space grunge, whatever that means. But they're having a big moment right now, I think. And I don't think that's just in my world. I think like they're having a big moment.
Yeah,
they've
agree.
had a song called "Freaking Out" that was released a while ago that is like on the charts, and Spotify released a songs of the summer playlist that people can listen to, you know, the songs that they put on there. I think you can submit additional songs and then you can vote, and I'm sure they'll release like what the winner is for song of the summer. But that's the song on that playlist, which is pretty big, I think, because it's not like a massive playlist.
Yeah, it was created by like the Spotify like music editors, and they tried to, I could tell that they tried to like include a bunch of different genres.
Yeah.
But to see Dexter and the Moonrocks on it is crazy. It's a great playlist.
It is. Yeah. Super fun playlist. Song of the summer. I don't know that like Dexter and the Moonrocks is what most people, the style of music that most people would consider for song of the summer, you know?
Right.
But we'll see what the voters say. But I just feel like they're getting popular right now. They're having like an upward trajectory, and so that happened. And then they also just released a song like in the last week or two called 12 Steps with Treaty Oak Revival, which is another great song. And it's very country rock, grunge, sad boy music, not traditional like emo whiny music, but it's certainly sad boy music. It's very alternative rock. So
and
I'd love to see it.
I feel like we got so lucky because we got to see them last fall, I think it was, or was it summer? Last fall or summer. And that was just kind of like we just kind of happened upon them. And we had it was like a one of those reactions where we're like, what in the heck are we watching? Oh
You're
my
like, "These
God,
guys
this
rock."
is so good. Yeah. It was
And
so
I love discovering bands that way, where I see them live and I'm like, hell yeah, they sound good, and then I've just become a big fan.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, we probably should have talked about this earlier when we were talking about Chicago and the fact that we need to go to Chicago. But I know that you had talked about it on the last episode because I think it was what was making you emo about going to Chicago and not realizing that Haley Williams was in Chicago the same nights that you were there. Sorry to bring this
Yeah.
back up.
I
But
know.
she has been bringing out special guests on this tour of hers, and I would be remiss if I didn't call out the fact that in Phoenix, she brought out Anthony Green and
Yeah.
sang Parachute with him, and I thought it was a really great combination. I hope that they actually do something together in the future because I think that his voice lends itself well with Haley because he already has a decently high-pitched, higher register voice in general, he meaning Anthony Green. So I was stoked to see that, and I feel like the internet, at least my side of the internet, was kind of freaking out about it. So and she had a ton of different guests like throughout this tour, but the one that meant the most to me for obvious reasons is Anthony Green,
Mr. Green.
Mr. Green, the front man of many bands, I guess, LS Dunes, Circus Survive, just all sorts of things. But did you hear about the spill canvas getting into this accident?
A little bit. I don't know a ton about it though.
So they were on their way from LA to Vegas, and they had like an emergency repair that caused them to have to pull over on the side of the road. And they pulled over on the side of the road pretty far over, like as safely as possible. But there was a semi that was driving by that either wasn't paying attention or there could have been wind or something else, but it crashed in to their trailer. And this was, while they were out with the Emo Orchestra and Grey Wind, that Scottish, I think they're Scottish, that band that my friend Casey, who is the guitarist of Wonder Years, he manages Grey Wind.
Right.
I really wanted to go see this tour and see Grey Wind live. But man, does that sound so scary. You think about all the, like obviously the humans, but then the gear and the fact that like they're sleeping on this bus. It just, there's so many levels of scariness there. Glad that everybody was okay and like that, nothing, bad happened. But that would have been some PTSD for me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, glad everybody's okay.
Yeah. And then speaking of other tours, Simple Plan, Lolo, and 303 were all out on the Bigger Than You Think tour. And so we've talked about tour pranks on here before, like towards the end of tours, people will prank, or even sometimes in the middle of a tour, they'll prank it. But Lolo decided that she wanted to prank Simple Plan, and I'm sure 303 were very much like in on this whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's a song that Simple Plan has that features Lolo, and so she normally comes out and sings it with Simple Plan, and she, I guess she tends to come out in like kind of like a punk rocker, like pleated plaid skirt type vibe, like mini skirt. Anyways, they took Lolo's normal outfit and put it on Nat, who is one of the frontmen of 303. He's like 6'5" and very slender, very tall, and put her outfit on him. And it was, I don't know if you saw that go around the internet. It is so funny. It's so good. It's so good. So if you like any of those bands that we just mentioned, you should do yourself a favor and go find this video because it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Good.
The only
thing I had, if you don't mind, was
no, not at all.
Violet Grohl, daughter of Dave Grohl, has released some music, and I think she's been like sort of out there before, maybe has performed like here and there with Dave, but this is like she's starting her own career is what it feels like to me, and doing her own releases. And she was just on Jimmy Fallon too and performed Bug in the Cake, and I watched it and I was like, this girl is talented, and I think she could be going somewhere. So I just wanted to give that a shout out and say, like, go check it out, because I think it's actually good and not just somebody that has a rich and famous parent, you know?
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine what it was like. She probably feels like she has to prove herself too because of who her dad is. But I also wonder, like, she probably got to see and do and develop like some skills that like you can only develop or have access to with a father like hers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, speaking of females releasing new music, Eka Vandal, who we talked about with in the interview with Christopher Greenslate, and it's so funny to me because I think I told him that I didn't know I know exactly who she is. I've been listening to her for a while. I just like, you know how there's so much music nowadays and there's so much noise and just inbound. I'm like, oh yeah, like I just didn't realize that was her name and I kind of feel bad about it. But now I have become very aware, and she performed on Jimmy Kimmel. It was a really great performance. She's been doing all sorts of stuff, but that's because her record, Looking for People to Unfollow, just came out.
Yeah.
And it's a really great record. It's hard for me because I want to keep playing it. You know, we had our radio show and I still continue to do the radio show, although slightly differently. And every day, like every week, I always want to go in and play one of her songs just to make more people aware of her music. But a lot of it has expletives, so a lot of it can't be played. But I've been playing Molly a lot, and I just love that song. But the entire record has been... It's just really, really good. So if you like punk, or if you ever like No Doubt, like to me, she's like the new version of Gwen Stefani, like the modern day Gwen Stefani, because I feel like she's the style and the attitude and the confidence and just the like
and ska inspired,
very
in your face, very like I don't care what you think, and a little chaotic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I thought that she was like from the Bay. Not the Bay Area, like from South, like, you know, SoCal or whatever. I might have to get fact checked on this one, but I think she's South African, which I did not expect at all because I was getting so much like SoCal influence, at least on the sound, that I was really taken back by that.
She is South African, based in Melbourne, Australia.
Crazy, right?
There you go.
I didn't even pick up on an accent, like albeit South African and or Australian.
I think I've seen like some clips of her talking, and I was picking something up.
Yeah, so go check out her music too because it's really good, and that probably should have been my emo lyric of the day, but alas, I went in a completely different direction. Which brings us to
emo lyric of the day. I know I had some thoughts too about like I should stay on theme about things we talked about, but I went kind of out of nowhere as well.
Same.
I just hope you didn't do medium build again.
I didn't. Did you?
No, just because you've done it like 3 times.
I can't help myself. I'm obsessed.
And you've done 2 different lyrics from one song.
Does that mean I have a problem? Because if I'm being honest, there's only some like I have a record player and I only buy records for albums that I know that I will listen to from front to back, and I only have like truly, I mean, I have a larger record collection than like 3 records, but there's really only 3 records that I listen to front to back, and medium build country is one of those, and I just can't stop. I can't quit them. I love them.
No, it's not bad. I just wanted something different. That's all I'm saying.
Don't worry. I chose a different artist. I chose Basement. Do you want me to go first?
Yes, I do want you to go first.
Okay. So I chose a song called Covet by a group called Basement. They are kind of grungy, they're like grungy alternative rock is probably the best way that I would explain them.
Is grunge coming back?
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. I mean, Violet Grohl, it's a little grungy. Grunge father.
Dexter and the Moon Rock.
Grunge, like Dave Grohl, like started grunge, you know, with Nirvana. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe that's a hot take, but I don't think it is. Like Nirvana is the most famous grunge band for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, but in like Dexter and the Moon Rock's grungy, Eka Vandal, grungy. Like there's a lot of kind of like grungy, grittier, dirtier. I think that sound though, like guitar, bass, like we've talked about on here before, all of that stuff is coming back because I think people are tired of the synthesized stuff. That doesn't discount that sound or doesn't mean that it's going to go away. But I think that the natural course is that, some of this messier sound is going to come back. Okay, I digress. So the song is Covet by Basement, and the lyric goes, I want a fatal disease with you. I don't want to be with you. When I'm with you, I don't want to be with you. I don't think I read it exactly the way I should have.
Okay, well, read it again. That's depressing.
I know, it's super depressing. That's why I chose it. It says, I want a fatal disease with you. I don't want to be with you. When I'm with you, I don't want to be with you.
So they want to kill themselves.
No, that's not at all how I take it. I take it as like a deeply unhealthy relationship or like addiction to another human.
Well, yeah, and the only way out is to die, like that. That's what I think it is.
I didn't take it that way, but now that you say it, it's making it even darker than it was in my head. In my head, it was just
I want a fatal disease.
But I guess, yeah, that's like a dying disease. Maybe it's like Romeo and Juliet. It's just like, I'm just so in love with you that like if we're dying together.
Exactly. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the only way out of this toxic. I agree. Like, it sounds like a toxic relationship that's like you're addicted to this person, but it's not good for you. And the only way out is death.
I mean, you just said addicted, and now I can't. We mentioned Simple Plan earlier. Is that who it was? I'm addicted to you.
Yes.
Sorry.
That
popcorn thoughts over here.
Not as dark as the lyric you just read, which, hey, that's okay.
Yeah. What about you? I chose so many other lyrics too. I had like 7 to choose from, but I decided that one.
No, there's some good ones in this song. So I am choosing also like kind of an out there band, or I don't know, maybe they're called Bike Routes or Bike Routes.
Route, tomato.
Bike Routes. I've been saying Bike Routes in my head, but now that I say it out loud, I don't know. It's a New Jersey band. And they are kind of like the Starting Line, in my opinion. So check them out. I've just started to kind of dabble with them.
How'd you find them?
But it's very, like, reminds me of the Starting Line.
How did you find them? Discover them? Do you know?
It would, like, on Instagram or something. Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? Like, I should have even asked you because I wouldn't be able to tell you like how did I start listening to Basement? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was on Instagram. They popped up or I might have been like listening to a podcast and they were mentioned because I do that sometimes and then I'll like put it on my list to check out eventually. So I'm not totally sure. But one of their bigger songs is called World Apart. And the lyric that I chose, but there's a lot of good lyrics in this song and I chose it kind of quickly. And I'm not sure if I chose the right one. But the lyric is, I came alive in the fire tonight, and I danced on the streets of this town. I rallied against everything they taught me, but I wouldn't burn it down.
Okay, you're going to have to read that one more time.
Well, and yeah, this says railed against. So the Google's saying the lyric is railed against, but I think it's rallied against. And now I'm going to have to read it again. I'm going to read it saying railed. I came alive in the fire tonight and I danced on the streets of this town. I railed against everything they taught me, but I wouldn't burn it down. And that, so I don't know if it's railed or rallied. I thought it was rallied, but again, I take this very much like me and my upbringing in like a small town but like wanting to get out and wanting to do something different and not like get stuck there. So a lot of people in my town kind of get stuck there. And I think that's a pretty common experience, especially in small towns.
Even not in small towns, but yeah, I think it feels bigger in a small town.
But I really liked, I rallied against everything they taught me, but I wouldn't burn it down. Because it's like...
You still love it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like I felt like it was a good juxtaposition of like how to look at where you grew up, and like maybe it's not for you anymore, but you can still appreciate it, and like it doesn't, you don't need to shit on it. It's just like it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty that's a shared, very much a shared experience. I think I had a version of that myself. I know a lot of people who had kind of that same sentiment of or feeling of like living in a small town and needing to get out. And then a lot of people find themselves going back to that same small town or to that same town because they realize what they didn't appreciate then, they definitely appreciate later in life. Yeah, I don't know. I think I win this lyric of the day, emo lyric of the day.
Okay, that's fine.
And the only reason why is I feel like mine is just so like dark and depressing that it just feels more emo.
It is. It is. Mine has some positivity, I think, and yours
I
did
think
not.
it's positive for this week. So, for that, do you want me to pull it up or you want to pull it up?
If you don't mind, I know it's Basement. I forgot the name of the song already.
Yeah, it's called Covet by Basement, and it's just so good. All right, well, what else do we want to do before we sign off for this episode?
I gotta go. So thanks for listening. Tune in next time.
Yeah. And we'll see you. Happy hump day, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, here's Basement. Covet.
It's so
Covet
good.
is also a 7 deadly sin, so it all works out. Kind of grungy. Rock is back.
I'm just gonna say, go listen to the entire song because it's so good.
So good. And check out
All right.
out.
Yeah. All right. Have a good week.
Follow us on Instagram at the Emo Hour. Bye.